Hi everyone, it's Thompson at Spaceman Paper Crafts, and I am back with another design team video today for Thompson Craft Supplies. Now, I was really excited when Louise got these papers in because I had an idea straight away of what I wanted to do, and I wanted to make a fairy tale themed mini album. Now this is going to be a mini album because it's only going to be 4x4, so it's tiny, but it's really cute. And although I say fairy tale themed, it's going to be more girly themed, because I might give it my sister to put my little niece's photographs in. So I am going to be using some of these buttons. Now they don't come with the rings, I've just put those on because of how I'm going to attach them to the album. So this is the button pack, the princess button pack. So you get the unicorn, the princess, the dragon, the prince, and the Once Upon a Time book. So they're the buttons that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using, I think, a mixture of two different paper pads. This is the Doodlebug FairyTale paper pad. This is 6x6, and there are some, I have taken some of the pages out of this and used it already, but there are some really cute papers and cut aparts in here. So that's that. So I'm going to be using a mixture of that, and I'm also going to be using this Echo Park kit. So you get, in it, you get 12 12x12 double-sided papers and a 12x12 sticker sheet. Now I ordered an extra sticker sheet because I had an idea of how I was going to do the pull-outs for the inserts. So that's the actual sticker sheet that you get in the pack. Okay, and then there is a little shot of all the papers, and you can also buy separately that coordinates with this is the ephemera pack as well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to pop the papers to one side, don't need those for a minute. I have done some prep already because obviously I want to do all this in one video and not you know, sort of drag it out over 2 or 3 videos, or not do a huge amount of editing. So a lot of it, as I say, I've prepped already. So let's get the covers first then. Okay, so for your covers, your chipboard covers, you're going to need the back and the cover, the back and the front really. The back and the front covers both measure 4.5 by 4.5, so you need 2 of those, and the spine piece measures 4.5 by 1.5. okay, so you're going to need one of those. You're also going to need to decide what sort of colour theme you're going to be using and things like that. I've just got gone through my stash and pulled out sort of different shades of pinks and purples and things to use. I'm going to be edging pockets and things with the Worn Lipstick Distress ink. That's the oxide ink. Use the Distress ink as well also. So let's get these covers done. I'm just going to wrap them in some light pink lightweight cardstock. This is probably about 160 GSM, I would imagine, and then I'll obviously do the inside as well. Now I'm not going to do a wrapped method, okay? I'm not going to wrap the covers round, purely, well, 2 reasons actually. Firstly, because I never seem to cut the angles right. I need one of those corner things, and my angles are always off. So I'm just, and then the other one is because it's probably, it's going to be easier really. So what I'm going to do, even though you're not really going to see much, you're just going to see this bit. I've got some Distress Stain in spun sugar, and I'm just going to run over it so you're not really going to see it, but I just want to run over it so it's not that stark chipboard brown colour. So it will have a nice hint of pink as well. So it doesn't take very long to dry either, this. You're not going to see the spine at all. Oh yes you are. Don't know what I'm thinking about. Okay. So we're now going to attach our covers. Okay, so I'm going to use double-sided tape that Louise sells in the store. You could, well, I'm actually going to use a mixture actually of double-sided tape and wet glue. You need to make sure that your tape goes right to the edge of your chipboard, because we're not wrapping this, so it needs to, you need to make sure that it's got tape right to the edge. Okay, so that's all taped down. So now I'm just going to pull the backer off. Now, what I want to do is, so I'm using a mixture of wet glue and double-sided tape. Oops, my glue is clogged. 1 second. There we go. So I'm just going to use some wet glue in the middle, and what you want to do is line this up right to the edge. Okay. And then you're just going to stick that down. Oh, I'm getting caught up on me. Just get your bone folder and give that a nice press down on the other side. Okay, so then you're going to need your spine piece, and what I'm going to use, I have a scrap of the chipboard here, so I'm just going to put that up there to make a nice gap in between, because you need to have a nice gap to be able to fold the pages over. Okay, and then okay, so let's put the blade down and get rid of our rubbish before we start to do the inner cover. Now before we do that, I just want to run my bone folder down the creases there, so that will help that fold up. So that's the outer cover done of our little album already, which I think is really, really sweet, really cute. Now before I do the inside, I need to make my closure for the back. So what I'm going to do, the closure that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a brad on the front, and then I'm going to have some of this elastic twine to come round and just loop round it. Okay, so I'm going to do make the hole for that at the back. Now I'm just going to roughly measure. Let's grab my pencil, and I'm just going to find the centre. So I know this is 4.5, So that's, if I go 2 1/4 either side, that would be roughly this, oh, excuse me, roughly the centre. So I'm going to use the small hole on the crocodile and push that through. Then I'm just going to take a piece of my elastic trim, or my elastic string I think it's called, and push this through there. Just make sure that that'll be about right actually. So yeah, so we've done that. So we've made the hole. We're going to have to reinforce the hole once we put the papers on, but at least I know where it is. So I need to now put the papers on the outer cover so that I can tie everything in on the inside. Okay, so we need 4 by 4 pieces, and then we need a piece that's 4 by 1 1/4 for the spine. So I'm just going to go and find some paper and then I'll be right back. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened there, my camera stopped recording. I've only just noticed. What I did was I just put the covers on and the spine with that 1/4 inch gap, and then I'm going to now work on the closure, because I want to hide all the bits under, you know, the layers of cardstock. So I'm just going to re-punch that hole. And then I'm going to go and do another one on the other side for the brad. About halfway up. And then I'm going to use again the small side of the crocodile. Okay, so that should give us our closures now. So if we put that brad through there, I don't want it open all the way because I want to be able to fit the wrap the elastic round for the closure. So, and then let's see how we get on with this here. So let's loop that and then push it through. Is just loop it and then stick it down, and then it will have tape on it. It'll also have the layer of cardstock and the paper layer on it, so I think that should be just fine. So I'm just going to get just some tape and tape that, and then, as I say, with all the layers on, it should be fine because it's quite sturdy there. So with the paper on there, that'll be fine. So that'll be our closures done and then all covered. So I'm going to put a bit of tape just on this end of the brad as well. So now we're going to do the inside liner piece, just the same as we did the cover. So I don't know if I've got a scrap that will fit, so we're going to have to do it like that. Okay, so what we need to do is put double-sided tape all across the inside of the album. is the cover of our album done. So I've just got to put the inside pieces on now. I think I actually might do the same, maybe the same as the cover, I think. So I'll bring my trimmer in. I'll cut these bits with you. So this bit we need it going the same way as the other side. So this is going to be, what do we say, 1 1/4. So that's the bit for there. And then I need 2 pieces at 4 1/4. So okay, so you see now everything is covered, our binding pieces are covered, so it looks really nice and finished. So now we're going to look at the binding piece. Okay, so our binding is a really simple binding. Okay, you need 3 pieces of cardstock. Okay, so the first bit, which is this bottom section here, okay, you can see that I've stuck it on and lifted it off. So the first bit measures 4 inches by 2.5, and then you score that at 1/2 inch on each side. Your second piece is 4 by 2.25, and you score that at 1/2 inch on either side. And then your final piece, which is the top piece, that's 4 by 2, and you score that at 1/2 inch on either side. And then you stick one on top of the other. So these are going to be the inserts for our pages. Now these are our pages. This is what they look like. I'm going to show you how to make those in a second. And that's going to sit like that and give us the binding for our pages. Okay, so I'm going to stick this into our album. I'm actually going to use some double-sided tape and some score tape. So I'll use some, oops, where are my scissors gone? Oh, they're over this side. And then all I've done is just sliced a little corner off the edge, because it pops into your pocket slightly easier if you do that. And I've got some 1/4 inch score tape. I'll put a strip down there. Oh, just got enough, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to peel these off. So if you have any issues with this tutorial at all, please just comment below or drop me a message on YouTube, and I will be able to help you if you need it. Okay, so this now is going to sit on our binding. So you want to try and do it so there's an even amount of space on each side. And when you're happy with the positioning of it, which I'm not, needs to be over a little bit, then you just stick it down. Okay, and then that gives you the pieces for your pages. Okay, so I'm going to talk about pages now. I'm going to pop those out the way for a bit. So I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 made up already. So I'll make the 6th one with you. Okay, so for your pages, you need 2 pieces of cardstock. One of them measures 4 by 5. Okay, and the other one measures 4 by 4. Now on the 4x5 piece, you're going to get your scoring tool, and on the 5-inch side you are going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides. So 1/2 inch there and 1/2 inch there. Okay, so that then becomes the pieces to stick down your page like so, to give us that opening in there. Okay, so again we need some double-sided tape. So we just need double-sided tape on the one side because we need to stick it to the other part of the page. I'm going to stick that down. Once I've done that, again I'm just going to notch a little bit, tiny bit out of the corners. So this sort of eliminates some of the bulk at the top end of the page. Sorry if you can hear that vibrating, that is actually my phone vibrating at the side of me there. Okay, so then what you do is you peel off, I'm going to do one side at a time, get some glue stick just to give us that little bit of wiggle room. Then you're going to line your 4x4 piece of cardstock up, which is not quite right there. So you can do it this way. If you line it up side by side, you can just fold that section over. Okay, and then we're just going to close. So that section's going to be a little bit, so we need to rework that crease. Okay, so fold it over so it sort of meets at the edge, and then press it down. Okay, so then that becomes our page. Okay, and then I'm just going to ink the edges like I've done with the others. Again, just with some of the worn lipstick oxide ink. And if you're a little bit off, like I am with this one, I'm actually just, before I finish that, I'm going to take my pen blade again, and I'm just, you can see that just that fraction there. So I'm just going to line that up with the edge and let the pen blade snip that off. Okay, so we're going to ink both sides. Now it's up to you at this point. You could put your paper on now if you wanted to. I'm not. I'm going to pop my pages in the album first, I think, and then decorate it from there. So we've got our 6 pages, so we're going to bring back in our album now, and we're going to start putting our pages in. Okay, so you need to take off one piece of the binding. Now because we've notched these, this should give us enough room to pop our pages on, like so. Then push it right down and then squeeze it at the bottom. So that's your first page in. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you in and I'm going to show you again. So you're going to peel off both sides of the tape. If you want to, you can of course put glue stick on this just to give you a little bit of wiggle room if you want to. So take your page, okay, and where we've got it notched out, it's quite easy to see how it just slots over. So you've got time to press down, and there you go, it's secure into our book. Okay, I'll do the next one again with you. So take the backer off. I should have just took that one off first, shouldn't I? Never mind. Okay, take your page, slot that in, they are our pages inside our book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my papers, and then I'll be right back.